So you may have heard that bad sleep will make you hungrier and slow down your metabolism. But does it actually, and how would it do this? Well, there is a little bit of truth in this. So there's a myriad of reasons why this could occur, but one specific one is the production of a specific hormone called growth hormone. So growth hormone is typically produced during deep sleep. And this is typically the sleep that occurs in the first 4 hours of the night. And growth hormone has a myriad of functions for repair and for metabolic rate. However, one of the other functions of growth hormone is to increase the production of a different hormone, and this hormone is called leptin. And now leptin has a myriad of functions, but the two I want to focus on is leptin's ability to reduce our appetite and to increase our metabolic rate, but specifically the metabolism of fat. So what leptin does is it will bind to a receptor on cells. And leptin doesn't actually enter the cell, but it causes a cascade of events to occur inside the cell. And one of the most important functions is to actually increase the activity of what are called transcription factors. And these are actually proteins inside of the cell that can bind to the DNA and upregulate the production of specific molecules. And in terms of the transcription factors that respond to leptin, these transcription factors are different on different types of cells. So in cells that have the ability to use both glucose and fat, it upregulates the production of the enzymes that will preferentially use fat for fuel. And leptin can also increase the activity of the enzymes that are already produced, simply shifting our metabolism away from glucose towards fatty acids. And now when leptin binds to fat cells, it increases what's called brown fat thermogenesis. So fat cells sit on a spectrum between white and brown. And the more brown a fat cell is, the more mitochondria it has. Additionally, these mitochondria have a specific protein in their membrane called an uncoupling protein. So typically we use electrons to create ATP. However, what this uncoupling protein does is it takes these electrons and releases them as heat, which means we'll need to metabolize more glucose and fatty acids in order to get enough electrons for ATP production, which means we actually increase the metabolic rate of the fat cells. Leptin can also bind to and increase the activity of the cells involved in thyroid production. And the more of the active thyroid hormone we have, the higher our metabolic rate. However, one of, if not the most important role of leptin is actually inside of the brain. The leptin receptors inside of the brain work to decrease the production of appetite-stimulating hormones and increase the production of appetite-suppressing hormones. The appetite-stimulating hormones include neuropeptide Y and AGRP, and the appetite-inhibiting hormones include melanocyte-stimulating hormone and serotonin. And with that being said, there are two things that can really decrease the production of growth hormone we get during sleep. The first is simply not getting deep sleep in the first place. And this would occur if our sleep quality is poor. However, one of the most interesting things that I've come across is that our circadian rhythms are actually tuned to release growth hormone at a specific period of time. What I mean by this is if you normally go to bed at 8 o'clock, your biggest production of growth hormone will come between 8 and 12. But this only occurs if you are in deep sleep during this time. So if you decide to stay up later and decide to go to sleep at 10 o'clock, you actually get less deep sleep and transition into REM sleep quicker than you normally would. Almost like you just skipped a portion of sleep that would have occurred between 8 and 10. So technically, if you want to get the biggest growth hormone production and the biggest production of leptin, you may want to make sure that you're never sacrificing those first 4 hours of sleep. And if you're going to miss sleep, maybe wake up a little bit earlier. With that being said, we do still get deep sleep in the later half of the night. It just is reduced in quantity in comparison to REM sleep. So if you're only getting 5 hours of sleep, it doesn't necessarily matter how early you go to bed, you will still be missing out on some of this growth hormone release. And now, I don't think this is going to absolutely ruin your progress. And it may not even be noticeable, but if you're trying to maximize everything, having a consistent bedtime where you're sleeping for 8 hours every night gives you a better chance to let sleep do some of the hard work for you.